To pray, there's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and yes, this is another video tonight. Since I did not upload earlier today, I felt like I should at least put out another one. And I've kind of got those creative juices flowing again. Now, they're hard to stop. Anyways, let's begin. Whenever we last left off, Jiro has met with Midoriya. And Midoriya, after butchering Jessica Cruz in front of Atrocitus, somewhat earned his respect. Not trust, respect. Killing the Green Lantern is no easy feat, and he was able to capture and restrain one. Now, with that being said, Midoriya is kind of confused, as the two are flying into deep space, and just going in one singular direction, for whatever feels like hours and whatever feels like days. Midoriya is sometimes able to actually close his eyes and get some sleep. And Brack's actually a bit more confused. Oh, that's right. Organics do need to rest. That does make sense. Now, eventually they would have gotten to this planet. Now, this planet is different. As soon as they do land, Midoriya would have woken up and actually find what he sees. Looking around and seeing that this planet is actually, well, weird. There's no life on it. There's no anything. Not that he can see, it just looks dark and shadowy. Kinda confused. Umbrax is explaining to Midoriya that this is himself. He is a living planet that is looking to expand. Now, that is going to be tricky, as this galaxy would begin to move. Midoriya, kind of confused, he does actually look up and see the nearby sun flying into the distance. Actually somewhat horrified, but intrigued at the same time, as one thing would happen. Let's cut back over to the League on Earth. They are trying to figure this out. Along with that, Cyborg is at least thinking. He is checking to see what has come in and out of the planet within the last few days. He does at least notice some little things that are at least the size of a person. They were able to pinpoint this one girl because of the amount of power she had coming off of her. She basically made herself visible. As for another foreign object, they can't really follow its trail though, that's weird. Whenever they do look at it, they do at least find that it was somewhere around this area. It stopped for about 2 to 3 seconds in the upper atmosphere, before jumping to a high speed. Now, they are trying to figure this all out. As I do want to say that the combat exams are happening somewhere on Earth right now. So, back to the story. Now, Midoriya, he is at least watching this happen, as they do get closer and closer to their destination. And they would just take off, flying up into the air and leaving onto the Yellow Lantern homeworlds. As they do begin to fly around, looking for Sinestro. As Midoriya would vocally state, why are they looking for the sky? He's got nothing to do with me. Wait, did I just say that? Well, as the image states, this guy took my power and decided to use it for himself. So, this is my revenge. Still, I'd rather go back to Earth and butcher some more people. In fact, I even made a list while I was thinking. Wait, how does he... Is he in here? I hear you. Da 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 da. Midoriya actually creeped out by what he's hearing. As Umbrecht just states that you are two separate people. Even you cannot accept your own thoughts, can you? No. This would actually hit Midoriya. And while he could feel his pride, or at least his, shame, get a bit harder to hide, somewhat strengthening and feeding this darker version of himself. As eventually some yellow lanterns would have approached him and stop him, telling him that he is on the homeworld of the Yellow Lanterns, and that he must explain himself before he is executed. Midoriya just throwing his hands up. It's quite simple. I'm requesting an audience with Sinestro. Once I get that, I believe I will be on my way. Now, go fetch your boss. Midoriya just holding his hand up, and then I'm seeing this odd ring. Confused. One of them basically saying that they're not going to do that. And Midoriya just walking forwards. Then I'm trying to blast him with, fear. Midoriya basically just slapping out of the way with his shields, made of shame, and beginning to block and actually walk to the sky. As Midoriya would just put his hands onto his throat, holding upwards into the air. Him trying to blast Midoriya with his ring. Midoriya in one swift motion, chopping off all his fingers. As the man falls to the ground and just begins to scream at Midoriya in his native tongue, not able to understand a single word. No. He can understand it. He just chooses not to. Bending down and picking up this ring, and holding it up to the man. Before the man goes to reach out for it, Midoriya will just grab him by his wrist, and pull as hard as he can, yanking off the man's arm as he falls down to the ground. Him just stating once again, he requests an audience with Sinestro. Otherwise, I suggest you listen. Losing a valuable ring. One of them getting annoyed, and the other one getting scared. Midoriya's sinister grin returning. Sinestro eventually being called and requested. Him eventually, after some time with him explaining exactly what this thing was, the odd symbol and the purple outfit, Sinestro would have come running out, with fear in his eyes, as he looks up to see this ultraviolet light, the one he had planned to steal so long ago. Walking forward, just asking exactly what is Umbrecht doing here. Besides, I'm guessing this is your new attempt at a little plaything. Ah, Sinestro. Umbrecht stating out of Midoriya's mouth, him a bit surprised as his voice has sounded a bit more booming. I simply wanted an audience with you. I wanted to talk to you about the situation last time. You did something naughty, and it cost me quite a few of my galaxies. All of them, in fact. Free to roam the universe. They do not fear me anymore. They do not scream. They do not feel fear. This one, his fear was potent. It called to me. So I answered. That's very interesting, Ombrex. Exactly what does that have to do with me? Midoriya is crushing the ring in his hand and dropping it, rushing forward and saying that he's here for his revenge. As Sinestro would go bring his hands up and try and fight off Midoriya, trying to beat into and take him down, him being overtaken, as the lanterns would begin to fight against this being, watching as they slowly be taken down. Now, very few lanterns do retreat, along with one of them actually trying to send out a distress call. Sinestro understands the situation. This is very serious. The last time Umbrex was here, it took the White Lantern to stop him. They need that again, before it's too late. Sinestro flying away and off planet. Midoriya having to fight off and take down a lot of these lanterns, blasting away at them with his own power. Over and over and over again, the ones he can't get, he uses weapons and constructs. Them all basically piling onto him and throwing as much fear at him as possible. Midoriya's darkest self feeling this, and having a bit of a hallucination. They feel like they're not good enough. They feel like everything is wrong. Looking up to see Midoriya's mother and father dead. He wanted to become a hero to protect people, along with seeing some of the people in front of him. A lot of them just chanting in a choir, "Villain, villain, Midoriya's a villain," and just beginning to do this over and over again. This drowning him out. Midoriya feeling this, as his body would move upwards and throw out as much power as it can, feeding off of his own shame. A lot of these lanterns dying in the blast, as the ones that don't, their rings would leave. Well, the ones that died, their rings would leave, trying to seek out new commanders. Umbrex throwing his hand out and capturing some of the rings, pulling them in and corrupting them, and then proceeding to blast away at a lot of these lanterns, killing and butchering them. Meanwhile, in space, Sinestro is broadcasting a distress call. "Listen, Hal Jordan of the Green Lanterns. This is Sinestro of the Yellow Corp. Listen to me. I understand you probably aren't going to listen to this, but just hear me out. Umbrex. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure when. But he's here. And for some reason he's taken Midoriya finally catching up to him, rushing in and screaming at him that he has him now. As he'd be able to slam into and actually hit Sinestro, him bringing up a construct that shattered immediately, and he'd be sent flying. As he does regain his balance, or at least the way he's moving, since he's basically in 0G, it doesn't matter, he would look up and just see Umbrex, with rings coating each finger. Every single one of them, just maniacally laughing at Sinestro, telling him that it's all over now. I'm taking that ring, Sinestro. It will be my prize. Sinestro trying to finish his broadcast. If he dies, then he is going to die. But he is going to make sure Umbrex does not take his ring. Him just yelling out as loud as he can that Umbrex has taken a human, and he is clearly not participating in this. The look on his face says he is, but the fear in his eyes says otherwise. Taking off his ring and chucking it as far as he can, telling it to go find his daughter. Umbrex watching as Sinestro begins to gasp for air, and begin to suffocate, creating a construct and letting him survive. as Umbrax just pull him in. Sinestro is like a fish in a net at this point, and he knows that he is going to die, but he can at least save his daughter and let her be the head of the Corps. Shit. I was supposed to take down Hal Jordan. Now look at me. Like some mere plaything to you. Ah, yes, sadly. But I will tell you one thing, Sinestro. Succumb to my will, and you will live. Although refusing, you will die. So, can you say the same thing for your puppets? Oh, this puppet. As Midoriya began to speak, this puppet chose to do what he wanted. He wanted power. He wanted to be a Galanter. Young man, this is not a lantern. This is a puppet. You must still be in there somewhere, aren't you? Well, as Umbrax just grabs Sinestro by his throat, him clutching at it and trying to at least fight back, telling Midoriya to listen to these words. If you can hear me, willpower is what you need to defeat Umbrax. If you have enough willpower, you can fight, as there's a loud crunch. Sinestro's neck was snapped. And Umbrax would just say, sadly, that's not how it works. Now, they would just fly back down to the yellow core and crush the rings in their hands, destroying all the Yellow Lantern rings and dropping them onto the ground, along with throwing Sinestro's body in front of it. The giant lantern directly sitting there. This is the core. As Umbrax just slide his hand in and touch the center. This will give him access to the communications. If he can do the same for the lanterns, then this will be perfect. Midoriya is still having those words echo in his head. Fear is what Sinestro used. Sinestro is a villain, but still. He said I need willpower. I can do that. I can try. If I can save myself, then I can save everyone. Those words somewhat comforting Midoriya. The only thing he can hold on to. As let us cut over to Earth. Hal Jordan and a few of the other lanterns are meeting with the League members. As Sinestro's daughter would have flown in. She used to be a Green Lantern. Not anymore. She is in her father's Corps. Along with basically telling Hal Jordan that this is urgent and it's bigger than them. Him confused. Her holding up a ring. Hal just saying that he's not becoming a lantern. No, it's the broadcast on the ring. Hal just looking down at his own and saying to allow access through and to translate the communication. Him hearing those words Sinestro said. Listen, Hal, I understand that we've had our differences. Hearing the actual speech Sinestro gives. This is a long one. What is it leading to, though? Umbrax has returned. You are not escaping! He's taken a human, Hal. This is my end. I'm so sorry. As he would hear the shaking and the shatter. As you do at least hear something slide. Before the communications would end. With Sinestro saying the words transferred. Now, after hearing Sinestro's broadcast, he would have been completely in shock, not sure what to do. Him basically running over to the Justice League computer and informing everyone. Basically saying to get everyone together, find Kyle, and to alert the Green Lanterns. Alert every single corps that they can. Now, with that being said, a significant portion of each corps would head to the Yellow Lantern homeworld. Now, except for the Red Lanterns. They were informed about it, but only Atrocitus left. Now, with that being said, Jiro's been at least talking and learning more about her new corps members, along with waiting. Apparently, they're supposed to wait for a signal. As back over on the Yellow Lantern homeworld, Hal Jordan would have arrived, inspecting and looking at the scene. Seeing that, well, this is very bad. On the ground, right next to Sinestro's body, there is a single pile of lantern rings, all of them broken beyond repair. The insignias, some of them are still visible, while some of them are only partial. Now, there's also quite a lot of bodies. And then there's Sinestro's. From what Batman has said, or at least looked over in the data, Sinestro was up in space when this happened. Meaning that he tried to get away and send a broadcast. He knew he wouldn't win, so he wanted to try and warn everyone. He may not have been your friend, Hal, but still. You can at least consider him a good man for trying to tell us. Well, I would agree with you, Bruce. But he wasn't really, as he gets interrupted by John Stewart, telling him to come down and look at this. It gives a explanation. Him coming back down to the planet and asking exactly what does he mean by explanation. As whenever he is flying down, he would stop and look at what it says. Soon enough, Lanterns. It having the names Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, and the rest of the human Green Lanterns, along with Jessica Cruz, X'd out. Now, that is whenever they would have gotten a bit more concerned. Heading straight to the Guardians and asking them exactly where has Jessica been. Them trying to at least find her. She does have at least a last broadcast. A partial transmission. Whenever she was considered to be, well, chasing this unknown assailant, she did at least cross a part of space. Whenever she crossed it, she began to broadcast something, saying that she is chasing somebody, and she's not too sure as to where they're headed, but she will keep them updated and find out who it is, describing them as a purple light, and faking a Green Lantern broadcast, along with them actually finding 2 Green Lantern rings within the pile of Yellow Lantern rings. This being a bit surprising. One of these rings is the first lantern. That did not show up. The other one is a veteran Green Lantern. So that is already dangerous enough. Now, with that being said, they would come to a conclusion. Jessica Cruz is dead. They're all targets. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.